What's up, guys? This is Kalani Kachela, or XK, from It's Your World. I'm the author of this book, It's Your World, Think Freely and Express Yourself. And although I have spent a lot of time thinking about deep subjects, at my heart I'm kind of nerdy. And one of the things that I'd really like to do is scrapbooking. So I'm going to start a little series of things that show what my world is like. And I'm going to cover some topics like scrapbooking and hunting and fishing and things of that nature. But right now we're going to start off with a quick beginner's video on how I do scrapbooking. So if you look here, you'll see one of my scrapbooks. And I have mine covering a lot of different topics. What I used to do was scrapbook graphs. But then I began scrapbooking great photography. Here's one from a jazz club in Houston. Here's another one from a jazz club in DC. And here's a civil rights museum over in Montgomery, Alabama. So I collect a lot of stuff. Here's one hanging out at the hotel in DC, the casino. There's New Orleans. You can see some pictures I've gotten here. It's hanging out with my wife in a brewery down in New Orleans. So I just collect a bunch of things. Here's some clippings from my work. You see I was in a newspaper back in September of 2018. But here's my real passion, is these types of graphs here that show different types of content and ways that the newspapers describe what's going on in our world. This one talks about the many non-white neighborhoods, new white home buyers, and how they wield more economic power. So I'm into a lot of different things, but the main thing I want to show you right now is how do I do these scrapbooks and what it takes to make a good presentation, at least from my perspective. Here's a shot of Tiger Woods. So let's go to the basics. When you want to get your scrapbook going, here are the things that you want to keep in mind, what you need to have. First thing you want to do is get yourself a nice book, a scrapbook. And these things you can get at Walmart for about, I think about $10. They'll come with several of these plastic sleeves right here. See these sleeves? But they only give you about 10. So you'll want to go out and buy yourself an extra set or two of these plastic sleeves, because these are what will hold your scrapbook materials. You'll also go want to get cardstock. I use this color book cardstock. I tend to use the white just to make it a nice clean presentation. You can get this also at Walmart for about $4. You get 40 sheets of 12 by 12, and it's easy to use. All you do is flip it open, tear out a page, and then it has this perforated edge on it you're going to fold and tear off. That gives you the perfect 12 by 12 card. And I always turn mine to the bottom. The next thing you're going to need is your two-sided tape. Of course, you can get this anywhere for about $4 or less. And then for the stuff that I do, a good sharp pair of scissors. All right? So those are the basic things that you're going to need to get going. So let's just say you got your paper ready to go and what you want to scrapbook. And what I do, since I'm doing primarily newspaper clippings and photography, I'll get pictures from our fishing trips or places we've been, developed, and then I'll put them in the scrapbook. But the first thing I do typically is I save up a bunch of these really cool things to scrapbook. And I set them aside for a while, and then one day when I'm just sitting around taking it easy, like today, I'll gather up all the ones that I've collected and try to put them in some type of order that gives a good presentation, and then I'll start cutting. So today's paper, or this weekend's paper, has this nice picture. Actually it has two pictures side by side. One of this beautiful sports car. It's the Lamborghini Huracan. And then over here on the right side, there's a picture of this beautiful lawn of grass. And you can see the great etching of the grass in the photograph. So for me, that would be a nice picture to collect and to keep in my scrapbook just as a beautiful show of photography. So this is how I do mine. I usually do this after I have read the article because I want to make sure I know what I'm scrapbooking. So what I'll do is, got my scissors. I'm going to start off just cutting the border of this picture with my scissors. It's real sharp, so it cuts it very easily. And as you can see, I'm just cutting around the edges. I try to make it as smooth as I can, somehow to resemble what you would used to get in the old photographs, that is. That nice white border. And sometimes I may even try to get the byline of the photographer. So in this case, I'm cutting it out pretty evenly all the way around, as you can see. Try to make it as evenly cut as I can, just using my eye. And there you have it. There's the picture. Now I can get a little bit more fine-tuned with this if I want to. Just cutting closer to the edge to make it really nice and trim. I'm going to cut there into that. But by and large, you see, it's a pretty clean shot. So I just put it aside over here. I'm not going to worry about the Lamborghini right now. Put this over to the side. I already have my paper ready to go. And as you see, the corrugated edges or perforated edges at the bottom. Right there, you can see that. So what I'm going to do now is get my picture and just kind of size it up on the page. Now sometimes, as you'll see in my scrapbook, I can get a couple cutouts on one page. Here's one of some clothing. It shows how the clothing sizes are confusing because one size doesn't necessarily mean it's a universal size. But anyway, the idea is that there are 3 pieces on this page, or on this one I can do 1. So for this one, let's just do 1 page. So what I do is I just kind of get an eye feel for how it's going to fit on the page. Let's give it a kind of center. Okay, man. Okay, there it is. We're back. Had a little techno issue going on right there. And then I got my 2-sided tape. I'm just going to flip it over. Flip it over this way. Get the tape on it. And then there it is. So it's ready to go. All I have to do now is just try to get a good placement of the cutout on the white paper. And there you see it's right in there, almost as if it were framed by a professional. The last thing we're going to do is find an empty sheet. Here's one of Dave Brubeck and Paul Desmond that I did today. Sometimes I will go ahead and do both sides just to have it ready for the next page. So all you do now is just take this page, slide it into the sleeve as such. And voila, there you are with your perfectly framed scrapbook page. Field goals, ready to go. All right, my friends, thanks for watching. You can catch me at itsyourworld.online. You'll find this video and other blogs and an excerpt of my book. I hope you'll check me out, and we'll see you next time.